I told you that your greatest fears are not barriers, but gateways to a version of yourself you've yet to discover. A study reveals that 9 out of 10 women have let fear dictate a major life decision. But what if even one of those decisions have been led by courage instead of fear? In this video mini-series of the Journey Within Steps of Self-Discovery, I will guide you through the transformative journey of self-discovery, overcoming limiting beliefs, and embracing your true potential. Each episode will combine educational content, practical exercises, and inspirational stories to empower you to embark on your path of personal growth. The first episode is about understanding and confronting personal fears. It will help you identify your fears, and also I will teach you strategies to address them head on. This is the first step towards self-empowerment and liberation from self-imposed limitations. Why is it important to confront our fears? Fear once protected our ancestors from predators, but nowadays it often misfires, protecting us from non-existent threats. So it's time to recalibrate and distinguish between protection and limitation. If we could imagine for a second your fear not as a wall, but as a door. Each fear you face will be a door you open, leading you to new possibilities, growth, and freedom. How many doors are you ready to open? While we can't always control what scares us, we have absolute power over how we face it. Confronting your fears isn't just about bravery. It's more about taking back control and pushing through your fear by taking the next step. It's about understanding that you're afraid and at the same time being determined not to allow fear to stop you. Confronting our fears is important because it unlocks doors to the potential we often don't realize we have. Fear acts like a barrier, enclosing us within a comfort zone that feels safe, but is often the very thing that stops our growth. Addressing these fears head on will allow us to expand our horizons, take on new challenges, and fulfill our true potential. And every time we face a fear, we build resilience. And this resilience strengthens our overall ability to adapt and thrive in the face of adversity. Our mindset transforms from one that avoids our challenges to one that embraces them as opportunities to grow. So how do we do it? How do we comfort our fears? 4 steps can help you start. If you implement them, you will be more determined to push through your fears. So let's explore. Step number 1 is to identify and acknowledge your fears. This can be more challenging than it sounds, as our fears are often buried deep within, distinguished as excuses or rationalizations. Imagine you've always wanted to start your own business, but the thought fills you with anxiety. So what you do, you've told yourself, it's not the right time, you are not ready, or it's too risky. However, when you sit down and journal about your dreams and fears, you realize that the fear of failure is really holding you back. So acknowledging this fear is the first crucial step towards overcoming it. One way to identify what we fear is to journal, or maybe talk with a trusted friend, a coach, or a therapist to help us bring these fears to the surface. So now that we've identified the fear or fears, our next step, step number 2, is understanding their origin. Because you see, many fears stem from past experiences, societal pressures, or even stories we tell ourselves about who we are and what we are capable of. Let me elaborate more with an example. Let's say you've identified a deep-seated fear of rejection that's been holding you back from forming close relationships. Through reflection or discussions, you recall an experience from your early school days when your peers deeply rejected you. This understanding can be a powerful revelation, highlighting that your fear is rooted in past experiences, not on your current reality or future potential. Therefore, understanding the root of your fears can diminish their power over you. Step number 3 is to start confronting your fears through gradual exposure. What do I mean by this? If you're afraid of public speaking, start small. Begin by speaking up during small group discussions where the stakes feel lower. Once you are comfortable, you might move on to presenting to a small group, familiar audience, and gradually increase the size of your audience as your confidence grows. This method of gradual exposure helps desensitize you to the fear, making it more manageable with each step. Step number 4 is to practice reframing your fearful thoughts. So when you think, I can't do this because I might fail, try reframe it to, I will give this a try. Failure is just a part of learning and growing. Let me give you another example. Suppose you are afraid of making mistakes at work to the point where it paralyzes you from taking any initiative. Each time you think, if I try this and fail, everyone will think less of me, reframe it to making mistakes is part of learning and growing. Everyone makes mistakes, and each one is an opportunity to improve and innovate. My value isn't defined by my mistakes, but by how I learn from them. So this cognitive behavioral therapy technique helps change your perspective on fear. And the truth is that we take control when we confront our fears. We start our transformational journey toward a better future when we acknowledge the fear and still take the next step, when we don't freeze or when we don't run away. And the way to do this is with the 4 steps. Let me repeat them. Identify and acknowledge the fear. Understand its origin. Comfort the fear through gradual exposure. Practice reframing your fearful thoughts. Now that we've explored the importance of confronting, I will find this word, our fears, and outline steps to begin this journey, I challenge you to take the first step today. Identify one fear you're ready to face and commit to one action, however small, that will help you to overcome it. Remember the saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This is the single step. Take the step today, irrespective of how small it is. What matters is taking the step. And always remember that you are not on this journey alone. Join our community. Send me a private message to tell you more information, because in this community, we share our stories, our struggles, and our successes. Share your commitment to confronting fear and your action in the comments below. Every fear you face is a victory over the limits you've placed on yourself. Remember this. We place our own limits. And with each step, you are moving closer to the person you want to become and showing the way for others to follow. Share this episode with someone you believe will benefit. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss the second video of the series where we are going to talk about mapping our limiting beliefs, and get in touch with me to learn more about this powerful community I am creating. Until next week, much love.